Derek. I go by Derek to Dare Rich on all social media platforms. And this is week two, session two. Like they said, most of you guys wasn't here the first session. And pretty much, me introducing myself, I'm a financial consultant. I've been doing this for going on like 3 to 4 years now, right? A little bit right before the pandemic happened. And for me, man, it was just a mindset shift. Prior to me learning financial literacy, I had no knowledge of it, pretty much just basic information like everyone else, like the majority of the population, right? Um, what led me to this was me actually getting sick and tired of my situation. And when I say my situation, pretty much I mean like how I was living, like paycheck to paycheck, don't have nothing saved, living off the bare minimum, pretty much. And I know there's a lot of people out there that can relate, I have children as well. And pretty much, things were getting tough, man, So I had to find other ways, means to make money, uh, you know, to want to become an entrepreneur. I had to learn, skills. So I went to school. I went back to school. So this is like I went back to school 20 years later. And I mean, everything changed. I'm like, man, what is all of this? I didn't know how to write an essay. I didn't know how to, commas, punctuation, all that stuff. And I had to re-enroll myself in school. So I decided to go to, since I have a familiarity in music production. At one time I was an artist, and I said, you know what, I'm going to go back to school to learn how to film, because, I love cameras and technology. So I went to school at Art Institute to learn how to just teach myself how to, shoot videos. I wanted to get into film production at the time. And I saw all my buddies that were still doing music. I said, you know what, maybe I can shoot their videos, learn how to edit, things like that. So that's what made me become an entrepreneur. So I had to freelance and do that stuff just to make side money, because, whatever I was working on my regular job, that wasn't enough. So I had to find something part-time that I can do, whether it's after work or on the weekends. So I was doing that. So pretty much that, was bare minimum till I got to the point, man, things was just like, man, this is not enough. So I started to look at myself like, man, what is it that I got to do in order to make some serious money, And I had to look myself in the mirror, and that's a tough thing to do sometimes, And I had to look myself in the mirror. I had to ask myself what it is. I had a buddy of mine. He seen that I was like, I wanted to read books and things like that. So he referred this book to me called Acts and It Is Given. I mean, that book really changed the direction where you guys see me at today, because it was like a personal self-development book that made me look into things more deeper within. So instead of me trying to say, well, why things are that way they are, maybe ask myself, what is it that I got to do to change myself? So I started to look at things differently. So there's a quote that says, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. All right. So that right there was huge to me, because I never heard that before. Out of all the years I've been living, I never heard no one say that. That one quote just had me like, damn, if I look at the things differently, the things I look at change. So that led me down to where I'm at today with financial literacy. So I had to get my mindset right first in order for me to be able to, unlearn some of the things and deprogram myself to reprogram myself for me to learn what it is that I'm learning today. So financial literacy, man, it's important. And I just want to be able to help as much people as I can to get this information, because when we were coming up, we didn't have nobody to come back to us to teach us about this. So that's where I'm at today, guys. And I hope you guys can actually get something from this session, and maybe, you know, one thing I say can stick with you guys, and then you guys can use that to better your life and have a positive financial future. So we have some questions and I have the answers for you guys.
My question is to you is, when it comes to saving and you have like goals, well, but sorry, how can you keep your goals when it comes to other expenses?
So when it comes to saving, and you know, you want to keep your goals, right? Even if you have other obstacles in the way, you just got to do it. You know, like, you got to commit. You understand? Like, I know there's a lot of things. See, the one thing is, obstacles are always going to be in the way, no matter what, you know? So you have to stay focused on what it is that you're trying to do. So I would say, you know, if there's something that you want to save towards, always have like a plan, like always write it down. That would be one of my suggestions. And then, you know, the goals that you're wanting to achieve, you know, write those down and as well, you know, because obstacles are always going to come in the way. Like, it's just like looking at you know, in the galaxy, there's planets, there's orbits, and there's stars. There's always going to be things that's shooting by, you know. So, you know, you just got to know how to just stay focused on what it is that you want to do. And you know, when it comes to saving, I would say at least pick a goal of how much you want to save. The general rule is 30% out of your income, but the bare minimum is 10% out of your income, and you put that away. But have a plan for it, though, always. Hope that answers your question.
Okay, next question, Jesus.
I was gonna ask, what do you think the fastest way to fix bad credit is? Like, if you already have a bad score, what would you do?
To be honest, start today. Don't wait, you know, because the longer you wait, the more you put off whatever it is that you're trying to do, you know, because the way how credit is, the credit bureaus, when I say credit bureaus, I'm talking about TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. They work every 30 days. So it's not like you can do something today and then tomorrow it's fixed. You have to actually wait 30 days, sometimes 45 days. So when disputing anything that's bad on your credit, because you said fixed bad credit, so I'm assuming that you may have some things on there that's negative and you need them removed. The great thing is about credit, whatever is negative on your credit, it's law that you can remove those things. There's laws in place for us to remove those things. So, you know, if you have bad credit because of doing some things that you probably didn't, you know, wasn't aware of in the past, don't let that get you down, because there are laws in place to help every consumer, you know, fix their credit and remove negative and erroneous items on your credit. So I would say start today, pay a professional to get it done. Or if you want to learn how to fix your credit, that's an option too. You get one free annual credit report per year at annualcreditreport.com. Okay, so you guys want to write that down? Annualcreditreport.com. And you guys can get one free credit report per year. And I would suggest you guys highly do that, because here's the thing with credit, man. It's not just about, you know, oh, a credit score. It's not just about that. Credit is short for credibility, right? I'm gonna say that again. Credit is short for credibility. So if you don't have any credibility with yourself, then you won't have credibility with others. So you could look at the person to the right of you or to the left of you. If you wanted to ask that person, hey, can I borrow $5? If that person doesn't have good credit with you, you wouldn't let that person the $5. I'm assuming, right? But if you knew he was good for it, you would let him $100. You understand? Because that person has good credit with you. So this is what the banks are doing. You have to prove yourself by building credibility. And the only way you can do that is building credibility with yourself first. So now you can leverage yourself with your relationships. You understand? So it's not all about what's my credit score or this and that. It's about leveraging yourself and proving to yourself that you're worthy. So that's what credit really is about. You understand? So credit is about really leveraging yourself so that way you can build better relationships going forward. So let's start with our personal self, and then we can start building that credit with other people. And I'm telling you, once you start to do that, man, it's limitless. I ain't gonna say sky's the limit. It's limitless, because then now we can go to the bank. Now we can get credit with the bank, and then now we can use that credit now to build our business. You understand? So that's what I want you guys to take away about credit. Credit is credibility, and I'll leave that right there.
My question for you is, how do you build business credit? And do you acquire trade lines and primaries the same as for business credit, the same as you would for personal credit?
That's a great question. Um, the first way to build business credit is pretty much having a business first, right? So you got to have a business first. You got to have an LLC. Okay, that's the first step. Now, the second step is getting your personal credit in order. If it's in order already, wonderful. Now you can go apply for a DUNS number. Okay, that's a number. That's a number where businesses around the world use. So once you apply for that business number, now you can use your business instead of your personal name, and build credibility with that business, and you could be a vendor. So now pretty much there's companies like say Costco, Staples, even Shell gas station, Granger. These are companies that you can build business relationships with. And once you sign up for an application, you using your business name, you have an EIN. You got to make sure you have a, it's like an employer number, similar to your Social Security, but it's like your Social Security for your business. Once you have these things in place, then now you can, start the application, and then there's a thing called net 30 terms. So once you purchase anything from that company, all they want you to do is pay it off within 30 days. That's what net 30 means. Okay. So once you pay that off, 3 to 6 months, now you're building business credit. So this is how you start to build business credit and credibility with these businesses, with your business. And then now we can go to the traditional banks, and now we can get things like business credit cards, business.
My question is, what would be the best way to invest in yourself while starting, like trying to start a multi-million-dollar company, and the foundation you would lay out for yourself?
That's a great question. Well, first, it begins with figuring out what kind of problem you want to solve. Okay, because that's the first step. Also, who are these people that you want to help? Like, what niche? That's important. Okay, because once you figure out the target audience, right, then you have to define who it is you're going to serve, who you'll be serving. Okay, so that's key. That's like the first steps, I would say, right? Then you'll find out whether if it's the direction you would like to go into first by doing market research. That's important. That's free. See, some of these things that I'm telling you guys is free. You don't have to pay nobody to do it. You can do it yourself, right? Etc. So that's simply by going online, all right? YouTube, Google, all right? These platforms are free, okay? Once you do that, the association will come. And when I mean association, I mean like the people that's already involved in these areas, you'll start to see these things start to come up. So it's like law of attraction. You know, once you put your mind on something, then you'll start to see all the things start to come your way. It's like a magnet, you know, it'll just attract to you. So I would say that's the first steps. Now, to build a multi-million-dollar company and billion-dollar companies, you will need to put a business system in place. All right, which there's an acronym for that. Okay, meaning that system, the word system, someone put an acronym together for that. SYSTEM means save yourself time, energy, and money. That's what systems mean. Okay, you're saving yourself time, energy, and money. All right, so it's just like any successful business you see out there, like Walmart, Amazon, Tesla, any multi-billion-dollar company, they all have business systems in place. Okay, guys, because they want to save themselves time, energy, and money. They're not doing everything. They have people in place that's doing the work for them. All right, guys. And that's why I said you have to figure out the kind of problem you want to solve. So that's like all you could do, you know. That's on you. That's going to take reading. That's going to take, you know, researching. You know, it may take, you know, staying up late at night. You know, we have a smartphone for a reason. If you got a smartphone in your hand, that's pretty much all you need right now in this process, because that can do everything for you. You can make money from your phone. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, we couldn't do this. We could not do this. I mean, we're living in the best time, even though people think this is the worst times or the hardest times, but we're actually living in the best times in our lives because we can literally make money from a device that's as big as my hand. You couldn't do that 25 years ago. You understand? So, you know, you could research from there. It's your personal everything. Your phone is your personal everything. Once you guys start to figure that out, I'm telling you, you guys, it's like it's endless.
Earlier was how to invest and build your credit. So can you use some of, let's just say a percentage, like if you had 20,000, could you use that to fix your credit and invest in it?
I mean, 20,000 is really not that much, but I would suggest, okay, like I said before, you have to figure out what it is that you want to do.
No, I'm just curious. I just thought maybe you would have a suggestion.
That all depends on what it is that you would like to do, because it would be hard for me to like kind of give you I may say something like, say, hey, start a website. You might not want to do that, or invest in real estate. But it all depends on what it is that you would like to do. But I would say finding out what it is that you would like to do, and then there's guys that's already doing it, right? And then they have courses. So instead of going to like a college, right, and spending all this money or being in debt, 50 to 80, 100,000, there's guys out here right now, you can pay 5K, right? You could take that 20K, pay like 5K in somebody's course, 5 to 10K in someone's course, and then they'll give you the blueprint of what it is that you want to do or what they do and that you want to do. And then they'll give you the roadmap to get there to make money. you had 20,000 in cash, I mean, it could take you way less than that to repair your credit. It could take you less than $1,000 to repair your credit. It all depends on what's on your credit. Now if you owe 50,000 in debt, then we would have to see what it is, what kind of debt it is. If it's charge-offs, collections, repossessions, bankruptcies. There's situations where people file bankruptcy to wipe their debt, but then that stays on your credit report for 7 to 10 years. So now you probably wouldn't be able to apply for new credit cards or new credit because of a bankruptcy. So there's different strategies that you can do, but if you got money already and you want to pay someone to fix your credit, that's the first best thing to do. Fix your credit, then you build business credit, and then you can go to the banks to get funding.
My name is Eddie. I got two questions. Well, one isn't on here. The first one on here is now still a good time to invest in Bitcoin?
I would say yeah. I would say definitely invest in any cryptocurrency, even if you missed out on the wave of Bitcoin, because it was I think we all missed out. But you can still invest in Bitcoin. I would say if you do have some money put aside every month, like I was explaining with, at least try to save 30% from your income monthly. You can divide the 30%. So 10 here in crypto or stocks, 10 here for long-term savings, and then 10 into like a life insurance vehicle or something like that. And that all depends on how much money you make per month and things like that. But yes, I would say invest in crypto, even if it's like $50 every week or 50 every 2 weeks or 50 a month, because you got to understand with crypto, it's a volatile investment, meaning that it can go up and it can go down, but it can go up more than it can go down pretty much. So you're looking at long term, you're not looking at, short term. So if you got the money to invest and to risk, yes, definitely invest in crypto, not just Bitcoin, other coins as well too.
And then I wanted to also ask, how does somebody get into stocks or learn more about stocks?
Repeat the question.
How does somebody learn more about stocks?
I would say YouTube University. That's your best bet. Try to figure out which person on there you resonate with the most, because there's a lot of guys talking about all kind of things, but you're gonna have to figure out which one you kind of vibe with the most, and then they would have all the best suggestions as far as stocks. There's a guy that I follow. His name is Wall Street Trapper. It's called Wall Street Trapper, and he breaks down a lot of stocks, games, and breaks it down. Education. He has courses that you guys can take if you want to understand stocks. But yeah, I would say go to YouTube University, and start there. Just simple questions like, hey, how do I know which stocks to pick, or how to, just ask the question. It's definitely going to be somebody going to have an answer for you. But stocks it's more to it than just stocks. So I would say just start somewhere, and then it'll just open up a Pandora box for you.
My question is, how long would it take me to build my credit? My name is Mark, by the way, my bad.
How you doing, Mark?
Good, and yourself?
I'm doing great.
That's right.
You said how long would it take to build your what?
Credit. That's the only question I had.
Well, it can actually take 3 to 6 months to build your credit, and I'm assuming you probably don't have anything on your credit, correct?
No, sir.
Yeah, so it can take you like 3 to 6 months. I think I wrote down something here. It could take you 3 to 6 months to build your credit. And there's all kind of, platforms out there, apps, things like that, that can help you build your credit, right? Um, and it all depends on just you adding things on there, being an authorized user on a credit card. If you have a family member that has a credit card and they have it in good standing, that can help you. Um, there's apps like Chime, there's apps like Experian that can help you build credit, Credit Strong, Self, that may charge a slight fee monthly, but you're actually putting your money away as low as $15 a month for like 6 months to 12 months, right? And it's going to report to all three credit bureaus. Okay. So it'll show like an installment account, like an installment loan, meaning that it's a different type of account, not revolving. A credit card will be in a revolving account because every month it needs to be paid, right? But an installment account is something that you pay down, sort of like a car loan, right? So these are all different type of mixed accounts that you can use to build out your credit report or your credit profile, because that's what people that's going to lend you money, that's what they look at. They look at history, they look at payment history, they look at utilization, credit utilization, meaning that if you already have credit cards, they look at that to see if they're maxed out. Because if it's maxed out, they're gonna look at you sideways, like, okay, you're trying to apply for another credit card. How can we trust that you're gonna, be able to pay it if your cards are all maxed out? So that plays a big part in your credit. And then, you know, uh, length of credit, the time of history. So that's why you want to be an authorized user on a family member credit card that may be 10 years, 5 years, 15 years, or 20 years old, that you benefit off the history of that. And then the limits that they have on the credit cards as well. It'll help push you up in a higher ranking of a credit score. And then you can start to apply for credit cards now because you have some kind of profile that's, they know that you're just starting off, but then you can apply for like a secure credit card where you put like $500 up, and then they'll give you back that money like in a year. They'll release it back to you, but you're just using your money to make payments. But you got to make sure you make payments. You got to make sure you pay your card on time. All right, guys, paying your card on time is important, because if you miss your payment and it reports on your credit report, it can drop your score 100 points. Okay, so it's very, very important that you pay your card on time. So you can do things like a secured credit card, become an authorized user to build your credit.
My name is Arturo. I wanted to know, how do you invest in real estate?
Well, there's 3 levels to real estate you can invest. The first level is wholesaling. I always thought that you had to have money to invest in real estate, which that was really not true, because I found out a way how to get into real estate by wholesaling, meaning that you can find a property, right? And you can put that property under contract, okay, with the seller, okay? So the owner of the property. And then you have to have a purchase and sell contract, meaning that you agreed to a price with that seller of how much you would buy the property for, which you're not going to buy it, but you're going to find an end buyer that you're going to assign the contract to. So that's 2 separate contracts. You're going to have one with the seller and one with the buyer. And then the buyer is going to buy that contract from you, and then you make a cut. So you'll make, like, you're like the middleman, right? So you may find a house that's abandoned. So these are the houses that you can do. You find a house that's abandoned on a block, right? The grass is growing high. You got to figure out who is the owner of this house. You don't see nobody living there. Usually the owner don't live in that state. They'll live somewhere else. Okay. Once you find out who is the owner, you have to mail them a letter. Okay. Once you mail them the letter, then you'll, because you're trying to get in contact with them, right? So that's one of the ways that you can, get into real estate. That's the first level. So you're just basically the middleman. Okay. And usually you can, if the property, you did your research on the property is worth 100,000 and there's a lot of repairs that need to be done to the house. Usually those abandoned houses need repairs. So if you can talk the buyer down to 50,000, right? And they agree because they don't want to deal with it no more. Okay, you lock that contract in for 50,000. Now you're going to go find a buyer. Usually you'll see people or you'll see bandit signs around we buy houses. Okay. If you see those signs, you can call those people and or put them on a list to let them know, hey, you find properties and things like that. And your wholesaler, you just want to add them to your list, a buyer's list. If you can find a property and have it on the contract, you contact one of those people and ask them, tell them, hey, you got a property and you have it on the contract. Usually they'll want it. They're not gonna buy it for market value. They want to buy it pennies on a dollar, meaning that they want to buy it cheaper because they got to put money into it to fix it, not you, them. So you got to sell it to them at least for like 60K, because remember the house is worth 100K. So they got to get back their investment. So if you sell it to them for 60K, you got it under for 50K. Now you made $10,000 in that transaction. So that's one way you can get into it if you don't have any money. The second way is you buy a house and then you fix it up, right? You can either rent it out to make your money back, or you can either fix it up and sell it. So that would be called like a fix and flip. So those are three ways how to get into real estate. But now, if you want to get into real estate, I suggest you own a business, have a business company, and then work on your personal credit. So that way you can leverage your personal credit with your business credit. And then now you can do credit to cash, and you can use your credit card, business credit cards, to purchase these properties that I was just saying that you can probably get for a real good deal.
I would like to learn an effective way to save or invest my money.
An effective way to save is to save 30% of your income that's coming in every month, right? If you can't save 30%, at least 20. If you can't save 20, the bare minimum is 10%. Yeah, the bare minimum is 10%. Okay. And that's really the best way to save. Okay. And budget. You got to learn how to budget. Most people know how much money they got coming in, but they don't know how much money they got going out. So you got to be able to write these things down so that way you see. I mean, when I say write down, okay, I make this amount an hour, I get this amount every 2 weeks, or I get this amount every week, right? You total that up. This is what I make per month. Okay, and this is all after taxes, right? It's taken out. Then now you got to write down on another discretionary income side, hey, this is what I pay my phone bill, my light bill, my this, my that, whatever it is. I go to Starbucks every other day and I buy this coffee. You got to total these things out. And then now once you look at your sheet, you got to say, okay, what can I eliminate so that way I can save more money over here or do more things with my money? Because all my money is going towards these three things, right? So you got to know how to budget now your money so that way you'll know how much more you can save. So that's what you should do first. And then ways to invest, you can find like crypto, invest in yourself, because you have to invest in yourself first, before anything. Invest in books, invest in finance books, self-help books, and things like that. So I would say that's the two things I would say you should be able to do. I hope that answered your question.
How did you achieve your success in financial literacy?
Okay, so this goes like back to my intro. when I first introduced myself. Like for me, it started with my mindset. And you're gonna always hear me say mindset because I want you guys to understand ain't nothing in life is gonna be worthy if you don't get your mindset in order. Okay, if you want to learn a new skill, you have to get your mindset in order, right? So, there's a quote by Earl Nightingale. He said, "Success is the progressive realization of a worthy idea." Okay, guys. So, for me, I had to have a worthy idea for me to pursue. Okay. So when I said financial literacy and learning about credit, I had to been really focused and said, man, this is what I want to do. I had to get sick and tired of being sick and tired. I had to, I hated looking at my credit score being in the 400 or 500s. I hated getting denied for credit when everybody else was getting approved. I hated getting high interest rates, and paying more in interest than the average person that has good credit. So, I had to figure out these things. And once I did, that's what led me on this journey today where I'm at. So, and success, it's an everyday thing, just like personal development is an everyday thing. So there's more things I want to accomplish that I want to be, successful in, but it depends on you yourself, how serious you are, your mindset. Then from your mindset, then you can add the skill sets and then you can leverage the tool sets. So it's mindset first, skill set, and then tool set. Hope that answer your question.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What's going on, man? My name is Brandon. You actually answered one of my questions, which was how do you stay focused, right? And you was talking about changing your mindset.
Yes.
My other question for you is how did seeing your goals, how did your goals, like in what ways did seeing your small goals contribute to your success?
Repeat that question again.
How did seeing your goals, you know what I'm saying, like the smallest goals, you know what I mean, like the ones that you set before, you got to where you at now. How did seeing certain goals that you accomplished, contribute to your success? Like how much did it motivate you to, do that much more?
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, I had the answer for your question too as well. And I'll probably use that because that's part of like achieving my goals and some of my goals that I had. Because when I said it begins with a mindset, because one of the components of mindset, right, is distraction. Okay. Now you have to learn to manage your distractions. And to manage your distractions, you have to learn how to manage yourself first. Right? Because when I say manage your distractions, you have to just become aware of the fact. All right. So anything that's not contributing to you moving forward to your goals, right, is a distraction. Anything that's not moving the needle in the direction of the outcome you seek is a distraction. So you got to minimize distractions in order to maximize the results you are seeking, right? To stay focused and get from your attention and intention. So those are two different things, attention and intention. All right. So these are the things that help me accomplish some of my goals. And one of the biggest distractions is TV. Okay. A TV is the biggest distraction. And I had to learn that recently. Now, I went to a conference 2 months ago before me and Mary met. And I met this guy named Myron Golden. And he's actually my coach today. So when he broke down the distraction, the number one distraction was TV, sports, entertainment, all this stuff. It was a real hard pill for me to swallow because everyone loves to be entertained, right? And, you know, a little TV here now and there won't hurt. But I realize, oh, it's the TV and these sports and these other things that's taken away from my focus. Because he said, well, Myron, people say, well, Myron, what if I don't know what's going on in the world? But how can you know what's going on in the world if you don't know what's going on in your world? You know, it was like a gut punch, because I'm like, damn, I was worrying about everything what's going on in the world. How much points LeBron scored last night? Oh, my team didn't do this. My team, oh, we only need one more game to win. Oh, this person sleeping with this person and that person is with that person. But guess what? Those people don't even know you exist.
Right.
They don't even have a clue that you exist. So at the end of the day, I had to take a reality check. And ever since then, I stopped watching TV. I stopped turning on the news. And guess what? Now I'm more focused on my goals. That's how I can be here in front of you guys today, because guess what? I said, I'm not worrying about I'm not worrying about these things no more, because once I start to focus more on myself, then I can do those things later. But then guess what? Once you start to build yourself and discipline yourself, when that later comes, you're not even going to be worrying about it, because you're going to be so focused on your goals and accomplishing things. You're just going to be so laser focused. So I think that's one of the biggest things that can stop you from your goals. And those are one of the biggest things that help me realize my goals and stay focused on the track to my goals. Hope that answered your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hey, my name is David. One of my questions was, do you need an LLC in order to invest in real estate or rental properties?
Yes and no, but yes would be the best. To have an LLC will be the best way to do it, because you know you're saving yourself headaches, because someone could sue you and take all your personal assets if you have any. So having an LLC will cover you.
And Derek, one of the questions was, what's an LLC? Can you just tell them what that structure is real quick?
Yeah, so an LLC is a limited liability company. So you want to reduce your limit and liability on yourself and be the buffer between you and your company, your assets and things like that.
So Derek, I had a question that I put in on the survey. I was telling the group earlier, my son is 19, and I put him on a couple of my credit cards years ago, and it's helped his credit, but I'm trying to find, he wants to do a whole lot of stuff now. He wants to get a lease on an apartment, he wants to get a car, he wants to do all these things that he wants me to co-sign for, and I don't want to co-sign for all his stuff. So how can I help him build his own credit so that he can get a lease in his apartment, lease in his name, and get a lease on a car?
Yeah, so that's a great question, by the way. So like I was mentioning earlier, he could be an authorized user, which you already did already. But make sure that whichever card you added him on, that your utilization is under 10%.
Okay.
Because he's gonna take on all of that weight. Okay. So like, say if you have a 20,000 limit credit card and your balance is 19,000, I don't think that'd be a good option to add him on there.
Right.
So find a card that has under 10% utilization. That's the first thing you can do. And then you can put him on multiple cards as well. Just make sure it's under 10%. Okay. So not only that's going to help him that way, it's also going to help him with the length of history.
Okay.
Okay. So it's going to help him two ways: the credit limit and the length of history. All right. So that's going to give him credit age. All right. So also the second thing I would say is, if he's already over 18, he can open a bank account, right? I would suggest him starting a relationship with one of the major banks like Chase. I'm not sure who's all out there where you guys are at, like Bank of America, Wells Fargo. I know those are the major banks. Um, he can start with one of those banks and then also have a credit union. The one I would suggest is Navy Federal, okay, because they have great lending products and they also have business products as well. So if he wants to open a business, I would suggest him do that as well. Have a generic business like say his name, his first and last name, or his initials, and then put services at the end of it. Okay, so have him do that ahead of time, so that way he can start to build his company. Because the way how these banks, some of these banks look at, the longer your company been around, the more trustworthy you look. Okay. So he just got to make sure he pays that every year for the annual fee. He just keeps that paid and active. All right. Now, also, he can apply for a secured credit card. Okay. Now that he's an authorized user, now he can go apply for a secured credit card. And now he can build his own credit, meaning that he can put his own money up, like $500 or $1,000, and then they'll release those funds back to him in 12 months. Once they see he's paying it on time every month and, using it and then paying it back. Okay. So those are some good ways. Also, like I explained earlier, there's apps called like Chime, Self, where you use your own money and you put up. So you can put as low as $15 a month, and then you can build your credit that way as well. So you're adding another primary or positive account onto your credit profile, because these are huge. You want to have at least 5 uh, products, like say whether it's a car loan, a loan that you're like an installment loan, a revolving credit card, or a mortgage. These are positive things on your account. So it helps with the mix of accounts on your credit profile. So the more accounts you have on your credit profile, trade lines, the better chances you are of getting credit, but you have to manage your credit. That's the key thing. So when he's starting off, he's young, he can go open a secure credit card. He can, like I said, he can start with one of the major banks or Navy Federal. They have a secure credit card. He can go that route. He can open a pledge loan. A pledge loan is also something where you put your money in and then you pay an installment and then they release the funds back to you. So these are little like tools and little tips and things like that you can do to start to build credit. People pay to be authorized users on people credit cards. They have like companies that charge for trade lines and things like that. So that's a route too.
Well, thank you so much. Let's give Derek a big round of applause. Thank you guys for being here. Give yourselves a big round of applause for him.
I'm excited, guys. You're on your journey of towards financial literacy, because I'm telling you, they failed us in school. I'm gonna just be real. They failed us in school. They didn't give us financial literacy. Now we're adults, and it's like we're playing catch up when it comes to just learning simple things like a credit card or a credit report. How to budget properly, how to save. Life insurance. We all have these misconceptions of these things, and we don't know about stocks, real estate. I mean, if we had known this stuff in high school, where do you guys think you would be today mentally?
In the hot tub.
Right, in the hot tub, right? Yeah, so I mean, guys, I'm just saying, just stick with it, stick with the journey. They said, here's a quote. They said, the best time to plant a coconut tree was 20 years ago, right? Because then the tree will be big and flourishing, and you can have coconuts to eat, or you can probably possibly sell them, right, and make money. But the second best time to plant a coconut tree is right now. All right, guys. So don't worry that you didn't do this 5, 10 years ago. Today's the day for you to plant your coconut tree, for it to be fruitful, and so that way you guys can start continuing this journey on financial literacy and learning. And I'm so proud of you guys, man. So you guys can do it. Whatever I mentioned earlier, just, start the process, research. Like I said, use that cell phone. It's a smartphone, and it's one of the biggest tools we have in our pocket. So that's why I said mindset first, then you can leverage your skill set or learn skill sets, and then you can leverage your tool sets. And one of the tool sets is right in your hand every day, your phone. Okay. So you guys, once you guys stay on that journey, man, you guys can achieve anything you put your mind to, because our mind is the greatest tool and greatest power that we have. And I just wanted to leave you guys with that.